really heavy.
Yeah, that's always scary. If you do it by yourself and one lands on you, you get pinned. There's nothing you can do. You're like Teddy in that Bob's Burgers episode where the fridge fell on him.
Listen, I have two ladies here who could help me in case something like that happened. Their names are Alex A. and Siri.
Ah, very nice.
One of them would be able to come to my rescue.
Yeah. The question is which.
Which?
Okay. Well, we are recording. All is moving forward in a meaningful and orderly fashion. We begin this program in a countdown form in 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS, funerals and Fortnite.
The beers were near at Beerfest, my dear.
Scrabble went weird this year.
Wow, it's a whole Dr. Seussian intro. That bus driver's kind of cool.
Oh, we broke the rhyming. All right. Trade my liver for your burgers.
Tesla trucks sound crazy.
Robot or not. And Trek Nerd. And more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
Hot stuff, she is glitter wild. Glitter hair Barbie, comb and glitter gel. Streak or spike, sparkly gel style, how you like. Oh, glitter hair Barbie, rather style with you. Barbie doll so sexy.
The sand swallow the week.
Those bastards are turning back. This is the morning stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the TMS show. That stands for the morning stream. It is Monday, September 24th, 2018. I'm Scott Johnson. That guy right there is Brian Ibbett. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. It's a weird week.
It is a weird week.
For a lot of people. It's a big week in national politics. It's a big week for me because I'm going to Ohio this weekend. Looking forward to seeing a bunch of y'all there and speaking there at the thing at the GDEX, thegdex.com for details.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah, it should be good. In fact, today there's a live stream I'm part of that's sort of like an introductory to who's speaking. I think I'm on there with somebody else, but sometime after TMS, I'll let you guys know via Twitter when you can watch that. But anyway, that's all going on. So I'm in this mad dash to get as much stuff caught up as humanly possible. You know, it's funny. This Kickstarter that happened with the playing cards, all is well. Yeah. Like, proofs have been approved. The printing is happening. Like, it's happening. Like, we're almost ready to ship these things. But I had completely forgotten that there were people at the high-end tiers of contribution that get a bunch of art I hadn't done yet. And it was okay because Dave was like, well, no, we'll do that. That comes later anyway. You're not doing that at the same time because we're not printing at the same time. Right. So I just kind of had forgotten about it. This week, I'm making a bunch of bonus jokers. Woo!
It's bonus Joker week. Bonus, and a bonus.
It should be fine. But it's keeping me super busy. So anyway, that's my week. Brian, I know you've had all sorts of busyness going on, and
I have. It's been a fun weekend. Lots of stuff going on. So I mean, Tina's out of town, so I took that opportunity to play a little WoW last night and do some remodeling of the basement. I'm 3D printing shelf brackets to hold 1x2 beams of wood to mount my filament in this new maker space that I've got.
Is that structurally? Does it have structural integrity? These prints you're making?
It does. Yes. As a matter of fact, tomorrow when we have Bill on, hopefully we have Bill.
We should.
I'll be able to show him one of the brackets because he actually is responsible for their sturdiness. He worked with Joel, the 3D printer nerd. One of my favorite YouTube channels. This guy's great. Yeah. And Bill went to his shop and helped him figure out the structural integrity of these shelf brackets and helped him make changes to make them more stable.
Is it how so I just want to make a technical guess here and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Is it how the filament is laid down in a certain pattern to create sort of like crisscross structural strength, or is it something else?
Yeah.
This is good, you guys. This is good. All you makers, listen up. We're talking technical filament business here. All right, what do you got?
So this is the bracket.
Okay.
And originally there wasn't this kind of W here in the middle. I think there was just one line across. So basically you had and one beam of wood goes here, one beam of wood goes here,
Yeah.
and basically you've just got a couple of tracks, and all the filament rolls just lay in the curve of that track.
Makes sense.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
So that little backwards
when
end in the middle is probably the whole. Well, it's backwards to me, but yeah, there we go. The regular end is the part that. So I played this game called Bridge
Yes.
Constructor, and in that
Yes.
video game, you're always trying to make sure you get an N in the middle somewhere.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So yeah. So I mean, this mounts to the wall. You've got 3 screws that hold it up.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what Bill did with Joel is he mounted this to a board, and then they had like a strength, a tenacity tester or tension tester, something like that, where they could pull down and it would show you how many pounds of force you have pulling down on this thing. And they hooked it here. The problem is that they should have had a double hook here, like something
Oh,
basically
so it
connecting
hangs
to
in the
those
middle,
because
right.
the weight is supported by those two.
Right.
But when they had it here, it just basically on the old one just went "Brrr," and just bent it like straight down.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I always wonder if the 3D printing world is ready for when we have let's talk about severe increase in overall world temperatures. And to the point that let's say everywhere's like Phoenix. And if that ever happened, would everybody's cool printed stuff just soften up and be a little mushy and
It might, yeah, exactly. I don't think they're going to be 3D printing any houses in Phoenix or Mesa anytime soon.
Oh my
But,
gosh, can you imagine? Worst business idea ever down there. Don't do that.
And there's, there's different materials. So like PLA is probably going to be a little bit more, it'll warp a little bit more or shrink even. ABS is a lot more solid, a lot stronger.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Well, all right. I like this. I like that you have a room dedicated to it. Whenever
Yeah.
you do this stuff, I feel like I don't know what to do with any. I don't know how to do anything.
Well, it's finally going to give me a chance because I really haven't had a place to work on Thanos here.
Oh,
To
Space
get him
Ogre. Space
sanded.
Ogre. Got it.
Space Ogre. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Space Ogre.
Uh-huh.
To get him sanded, I have to still paint him outside. I don't have anything set up in there for where I can, spray paint and have the paint go up like a vent or anything. But at least being able to work on him and doing the old rub and buff.
Yeah, the old rub and buff.
The old rub and buff, baby.
I'm familiar. All right, so I got to give a fun little thing to tell you. First of all, I'm a little concerned about something that happened this morning. I just want to briefly mention it to see what you would do.
Okay. all right.
Walking the dog, there are big industrial sprinklers going next to this school. One of them is tilted a bit, so as it does it gets a little close to the fence, closer than it should, and it sends kind of a misty spray across the walk there where you're walking.
Sure.
I was walking the dog, and I forgot we use what do they call it? Not groundwater, but for like big areas like that, they don't use the same water you'd use out of your tap. They use is it called secondary water, whatever it is.
Potable. They use potable water. They use
Whatever it is, there's a name for it. But
not gray water, but I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean.
Not reclaimed.
it's
but
not the stuff you're gonna drink. But is it gray water? They're saying gray water.
Is it gray water?
Irrigation.
Okay. No, gray water is what you clear out of your camper. That's not filled with turds, but it's filled with you washing your hands and
The dishwash stuff and all that. Yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Non-potable, secondary
Non-potable.
water.
Okay, so just non-potable. All right.
Yeah, and my wife called it secondary water. That's it. All right. Anyway, so it it's out there doing its thing. And I've mentioned this before that I think they get it from the lake runoff because we have a lake here, and every once in a while it fills, gets a little high from rain or whatever. So they'll open up this little thing, and it creates this almost like artificial river and just kind of travels around. And I'm pretty sure they're using that to do the watering. Sometimes, because I think it comes from that source, it's a little stinky. It smells a little skunky.
Bit of a lake smell, lake water smell.
Yeah, like a little, like a egg fart kind of smell to it.
Okay.
And I'm walking past it, and this is the week where I'm washing my hands a lot. I'm going to a thing. I don't want to be sick of the thing, right? So I'm just wash my hands a lot. Oh, that kid looks sick. Not going near him. Hey, if we're preparing that chicken, let's be careful. I'm just being smart before I go on a trip to a thing where I have to stand up and talk to people. I don't want to be sick there. I don't want to have some chest thing. I don't want to have some butt thing. I just want to go and have a good time. So this is so misted, this water in the air, that I know I breathed some of this in walking past there. My question to you is, should I just put that out of my mind and not think about it anymore?
All right. Well, let me ask you this: what are you going to do about it? If
There's nothing I can do.
there you go. So that pretty much should just give you your answer. It's like, is that bad? Well, what can I do about it if it is? Let's move on with my day, and that's all you can do.
All right. And I knew you'd have good advice. That's exactly what I should do. I got to stop thinking about it because I could taste it. It was like, oh my gosh, it's like freaking duck and goose poo or something in this.
Yeah, no, that's the that's kind of the first question I ask myself when anything comes up where there's like a decision or a quandary or a conundrum that must be resolved. It's, well, can I do anything about it? No? All right, well then it just goes.
I admire that because what I do is I go, can I do anything about it? And then my brain says no, and I go, but I want to do something
can't do anything about it.
I want to do something about it. Someone help me do something. All right, well, whatever.
Well, there's that. Yeah, sure.
It's fine. Hey, so I went to this funeral. My 97-year-old uncle, which is why we didn't have. Oh no, we did have a PM on Friday. What am I thinking of?
We had a PM, but we just didn't have a film sack.
That's what we missed. Yeah, film sack. No film sack because of this funeral.
Sack.
Saturday morning, went in there. It was all fine. Saw a lot of cousins I haven't seen in like 20 years. It's weird.
Wow.
By the way, I don't want to be rude.
Oh no.
My mom's there, and all of her offspring. Okay, all of us kids plus the adopted kids, the Korean kids and stuff are there, and then everyone else from all the other sides of the family that we haven't seen in a very long time. They're off my dad's side. We hold up the best, and I don't mean that in a rude way or a cocky way, but if you looked at us all in a mirror, took a big giant family photo, you'd have been like, oh man, there is some, and they're younger than me. Like a lot of these guys just looked rough, dude. Like they have been through some stuff,
hard living kind of thing.
Yeah, and they have been. There's been a couple of them I'm aware of, but I don't know all the stories. But we looked like shining rocks on the hill in there, man. It was great. Anyway, so we went to this funeral. We weren't there long enough to eat Penny in the chat, so I don't know if there are funeral potatoes. Probably. They probably
hot dish.
were. Yeah, a hot dish was probably there. So we were there, and we're one of the. There's like 3 or 4 eulogies in this church, and one of them was my cousin, who's a couple years older than me. Her name is Jan. She lives at. Just kidding. So she says, I'm giving all this information. It doesn't really matter. But she was talking about how her dad, my Uncle Marsden, who I found out for the first time ever, whose first name was Gerald, his middle name was Marsden, but he kept the Marsden his whole life as his name. I didn't know that. So he would have
because he liked the sound of that better.
Yeah, I mean,
Gerald,
look at your
Jerry.
choices. Do you want ancient sounding name Gerald or ancient sounding name Marsden? Which one do you want to go with? And I think he just stuck with the second one. So
what's funny is that I think Jerry Marsden.
Yeah,
is the lead singer of Jerry and the Pacemakers. You know, the ferry crossed the Mersey, and that's what's really funny about that.
Cross the Mersey.
And it's Jerry G. Like would be short for Gerald.
Yeah,
I think it's short for.
That's crazy.
Gerard.
I didn't know that. He could have been Jerry, I guess, but I don't know. He chose Marsden, but he was a cool old guy. Yeah. Anyway, saw a bunch of pictures when he was in the Navy. They reiterated how he was in World War World War II, and then immediately after, or as soon as the Korean War started, he got drafted into that. Like, guy was just like he was like Colonel Potter, dude. Just world wars, and then the Korean conflict. Like, super cool dude. All these great stories. And anyway, at one point she says his favorite thing to do in the last 50 years of his life, which is half his life, was to play solitaire for hours and hours. She goes, he would play solitaire so long that he became an absolute expert in the art of solitaire. And then she goes, I guess it was kind of like what Fortnite is today.
I gotta make this relevant to the kids in the audience.
And I went, oh gosh, please, really? It's not even close to what Fortnite is. It's not the same. It's not comparable. It's a false equivalency.
And guess what? Young people are familiar with solitaire. You don't have to. You don't have to explain what solitaire is to the millennials.
Yeah, the kids know. They know what's up.
Yeah.
But Fortnite is absolutely nothing like solitaire. In fact, it's the opposite of it. You're playing with freaking. Well, I guess you're playing in squads and stuff, but it's 100 people, and you're shooting each other with guns. And when you die, you go start again, and you fall out of the sky and go pick up some loot and stuff. I just fail to see the comparison. If what you're saying,
solitaire you can play in real life with a deck of cards. Fortnite in real life would get you 10 to 20 in the slammer.
Right.
as a minimum.
I guess her two comparisons were it was a thing to do with your downtime, and he was super hooked on it. Those are the comparisons. So anyway, it's fine. That was
kind
fine.
of like Snake is.
We didn't get to stay around for the dinner-y thing, but my brother-in-law Ken, who was with us, gave me something rad. I'm going to read, or we're going to talk about when Daryl comes on today, because I feel like Daryl's a good place for this, and we don't have Steven today. So we'll watch for that. I would like to know though. Forget about all that. How was Beer Fest? How buzzed did you get? And are you still filled with hops and whey or whatever?
No, I've after 3 20-minute urination sessions, I feel like all the beer is out of me. We lasted the whole 4 hours in the place. Got in there at noon. It was me, crazy neighbor Dave, our friend Dan, and my buddy Jason. Probably, we were talking about this. Probably one of the people I've known the longest in my life. We met in high school. We didn't go to the same high school, but we were both in high school working at Taco Bell. He got transferred from the East Arvada Taco Bell to the Western Arvada Taco Bell.
Oh my!
And we just started hanging out. A lot of common interests in 80s music and stuff like that at the time. And but we're kind of those people who fall out of communication for months at a time, and then hook back up, and it's go out to dinner or something. It's just like we never stop talking to each other. That's the cool thing. Anyway, so went to Beer Fest, and the way they've got it set up, so it takes place in the convention center, and you've got long rows of booths there, and each booth is a different brewery from around the country. Microbrewers, craft brewers. I think your biggies like Budweiser and Coors have a presence there, but not in the same way. They don't get showcased the way that the craft brewers and the microbrewers do. And we go along, basically. You just kind of sidestep down the row, and each brewery has 4 or 5 different of their beers that you can sample. You sample it 1 ounce at a time. You're given a 1 ounce glass that you carry around with you, and they pour it up to the line, sometimes over. You taste that, you're like, oh, that was a good vanilla stout. Let me try your IPA, and they'll take their little water pitcher, pour some water in there, shake it around, dump it in a little bin next to it, pour their IPA in there. You taste that, and you just kind of move along, just right down the line.
Sure.
And for 4 hours, I mean, that's you're consuming somewhere between, I don't know, if you do it right, 90 to 100 ounces of beer. And it's all different ones. It's not like you're pulling on the same can ounce after ounce. It's like such a weird variety and different alcohol contents and different hoppiness and flavors and stuff like that. But it was a great time. Ran into
you saw people. Some
saw a
fans?
lot of people. So
yeah.
Ran into Jamie there. She works at Bell's Brewery in outside of Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Oh, nice.
She basically, we knew that she was going to be there, so waited in line and said hi to her. Lance from another brewery, and I think they were there. They weren't pouring. I think they were there just to kind of taste the beers and hang out and have a presence there. Went to the bathroom, which is something you do a lot, as you might expect. And while we were waiting in the line, the guy behind me goes, "Hey, are you Brian Ibbett?" And this is great because I love looking like a big shot in front of my friends. Right. Oh, I am. Yes. Oh, but yeah, a big fan. Blah blah blah.
That always feels good, doesn't it? When you're with some old friends.
It totally does. Yes.
Guys that remember when you were just like the meat digger at the freaking Taco Bell, but look at you now.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. He's like, wow, he sure came a long way from frying tacos to anyway. But that was Dan, and that was fun. Except waiting in line to use the urinal. Maybe not it starts out being a lot of fun talking to somebody, and then at some point you realize, oh, we're going to be going to the bathroom together, and we might be at adjoining urinals, and that's where things are just going to get weird. Do we keep talking? Fortunately, I got in and then went to a urinal. He didn't end up next to me, so
that's better than being next to each other in the stalls. That's worse.
Oh, yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're like, so anyway, hold on a second. I'm about to bear down.
Right, exactly. Then all of a sudden you see a tweet about, hey, I'm in the stall next to Coverbill and he's taking a big dump.
I love it, though.
And then Michael, who is a local Colorado tadpooler, we met up there as well. They had an area, Jameson Whiskey had an area where they were sponsoring a bunch of brewers who take their old Jameson barrels that they use for making whiskey, and then they make beer in those. And so the beer has a little bit of a faint whiskey taste to it, which sometimes is good, sometimes it doesn't work so well. But I posted a video of the four of us on Twitter yesterday, a little GIF of they had this matrix camera thing set up. So it takes all these pictures all at the same time, and it's kind of like that old Gap Jump, Jive, and Whale Brian Setzer ad.
You're looking at it right
Bullet
now.
time,
They see it
basically.
says Caskmates, Jameson Caskmates.
That's the one, yeah.
And you guys are all holding as still as you can. And
Exactly. Well, it was one shot, so it's no, we don't have to hold still at all.
oh, was it like they just took it?
Yeah, it was instant. Like all
Oh,
12
they all
cameras
run it
at the same
together,
time.
and then they stitch them. I got it. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's Dan over there with the doing the finger guns on the right side, and then my buddy Jason's the one who's kind of looking right at the camera.
You know what? And so here's a question.
Sure.
How do they give you this GIF? Do they just,
You have to go afterwards around to a computer. No line to get the photo taken, but boy, that's where the bottleneck was, is to go around to where you enter in your email account so they can email you the photo.
there's got to
or
be
the
an
video.
easier way to do that. Well, I guess if they
I
want,
know.
if they're looking for your contact info, that's
Yeah, they want your contact. So, of course, it's jameson@brianibbett.com is my email address for all intents and purposes.
I love
Anyway.
it. Yeah, that's what you do. Is you give them a fake one.
Well,
no,
you
wait,
give 'em-
you have to give
one
them
so
the-
that you
have
have
to-
to give them an email address you can have access to.
Right, so you
But,
get the file. Otherwise, it's not going to come to you.
Exactly.
Okay.
I have the brianibbett.com domain, so with every vendor I deal with, I just do the @brianibbett.com, so I can, excise that bleeding wound of spam if all of a sudden I'm getting 1,000 emails at bestbuy@brianibbett.com.
Indeed. Well, I recommended. Well, it sounds like a good time. I'm glad it was fun. Tell me about the
Cool.
chubby cattle. That sounds great on its own.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So went to a restaurant Friday night with Tina and friends, and it's a place called Chubby Cattle. It's on Broadway here in Denver, and it's a Mongolian hot pot. But I don't know. It feels like it could be Japanese hot pot, or I don't know why Mongolian. I don't know if that's the terminology, but basically you sit down. You've got a table with holes in it in front of every seat.
Yeah.
And deep set in that hole is a one of those conduction stove burners, right?
Oh,
So if you
right.
put your hand on, when it's on, you can put your hand on it, it won't get burned. But when
Right.
you put something conductive metal on there, then it starts cooking. And they
Right.
put this broth in front of you, your choice of like 5 or 6 different broths, and then you get food. And you take the food, you swill it in the water for a second, and you eat it, and then you can drink the broth like it's soup, or you can put veggies in it.
Sounds so good right now. Oh my gosh.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
And off to our right is a constantly rotating conveyor belt in a refrigerated case. So basically, there's a conveyor belt that goes around the whole center of the restaurant. Think of the restaurant as like some chefs in the middle, kind of like the Cheers bar. Chefs in the middle, tables all around it,
Yeah.
and each table is tangent to this conveyor belt. The conveyor belt itself is in a refrigerated case,
Okay. Oh wow.
and constantly going around
Yeah.
are sprouts and mushrooms and quail eggs, hard-boiled quail eggs, and
Have you ever had a quail egg? I
These-
don't know if I have. Are they good? How's a quail egg?
they are good. Oh, you know the best way to get quail eggs?
Squeeze it out of the quail. Suck it out with your lips.
Here's the thing. Yeah, oh God, don't do that. No, here's the. If you like certain kinds of sushi, this is one of my favorite things to do. So you get salmon roe or any kind of roe. Actually, I prefer the smaller roe, like the flying fish roe.
Oh, okay.
So it's the really tiny eggs.
Yeah.
And then have the chef crack a raw quail egg on top of that.
Really?
And it's like creamy, spicy. If you got wasabi in there, tangy. It's like 8 different flavors all at once, and it's so good.
Can I go to a store and buy like a tiny carton of little quail eggs in it?
Certain stores you can. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it at your regular like Kroger's Market or your Safeway, but you would be able to at like specialty high-end shops, high-end grocers.
Do they come in a little cartoning thing with a little?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, usually they're clear plastic, and they probably have 6 in there, 6 quail eggs.
All right, are they expensive? They probably are expensive.
Probably are. Yeah, I bet it's like $8 or $9 just for a 6 of quail eggs.
Do you think that's because it's rare, or people aren't really into it, or is it because quails have a hard time pushing them out, or something? What do you think the deal is?
Yeah, I mean, there's not thousands of chicken or quail farms like there are, the chicken farms and things. So.
Speaking of which, you hear about all those chickens that died in South Carolina?
The drowned chickens. Yes.
Millions of chickens died.
Yes.
Thousands, hundreds of thousands of. What was the other thing? It was chickens and something else.
I heard about chickens. I didn't hear about something else.
There was some other creature that we eat in mass that also died a whole bunch. It wasn't cows. It was something else. Anyway, I don't remember. But just chicken after chicken after chicken, just freaking dead, dude. It's awful. Pigs, that's what it was. Pigs. There was a bunch of pigs.
Really? Pigs and chickens?
Yeah, not fish, dead polymers. Not fish can swim.
Hundreds of fish drowned in the floods.
I would think they were already. Oh, you know what they're talking about? They're talking. I know what. I actually shouldn't make fun. There was also a bunch of water came and hit the freeway and then left a bunch of fish.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
when
a
the
bunch
water
of fish
subsided,
died.
a bunch of fish left on that. Yes, I did hear about that.
Well, no one think of the freeway fish anyway. So the chubby cattle.
Anyway.
Can I ask you this question? If they name it that, does that mean the beef is fatty? They got a lot of fat on the beef.
Yes. So some of the beef that we got, we did a big old combo that had a bunch of vegetables, plates full of vegetables, plates full of seafood, and then plates full of beef. And the beef they brought out was shaved thin Kobe beef and Wagyu beef, and almost like thin like lunch meat, like when you get salami, thin sliced salami. And you're putting this thing in near boiling water or boiling water if you've adjusted it to that point. So it's on you basically pick it up with your chopsticks, you put it in the water, you take it out of the water, and you eat it. It's that quick because it cooks really quick in there.
Yeah.
And if you leave it in there too long, it becomes rubbery and no fun.
Yeah, that really thinly sliced stuff is so freaking good.
It really is. And it's a fun, we had a blast. We were laughing our heads off. It's crazy Mrs. Crazy Neighbor dropped a shrimp on the floor, and we're laughing about, that was like a $4 shrimp. That thing is huge.
Did she find any spiders that she saved?
She did not. Okay. Yeah, none at this restaurant.
All right, good. Give them positive marks for no stuff. That sounds great. How terribly expensive was it? Was it expensive there?
It was for 6 of us. Mm-hmm. We spent, and this is with drinks, with enough food that we were okay, but we did want to stop somewhere and get some frozen custard on the way home. We each spent about $40. It was about $260 with tip at the end of the night.
Jeez Louises. Yeah, that's it. Well, 6 of you, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it comes out to about $40. It's like $80 for Tina and I.
That's not too bad. You got to do that once in a while.
On the higher end of what I like spending, but
once in a while though, you got to do that. You got to go. Exactly. You got to have a good time. You got to spend a little cash on a little fun with your significant other. It's all good.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I say.
It must be done.
It must be done. Just like. Whoops. Wait. Why isn't that showing? Just like this must be done. Joining us on the line is the long lost, but now back in our good graces, Brian Dunaway. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
You've been
I've got Brian.
Was he out of our good graces for a while?
Well, he's just busy. He's had a lot going on, and we haven't seen him in a while, and
too much going on.
I agree. Too much.
But that's okay. We're getting back in the groove.
Was your additional work and all the stuff you had to do, was that all because of the hurricane there? Because of Florence? Oh, geez, hold on, freaking. can just shut up.
jeez.
All right, turning that off. Anyway, was it a Florence-related deal, or what's the deal?
No, but what did happen was a couple weeks ago, or whenever Florence was here, there was a diversion of resources, and therefore we got behind on everything else, and we had to catch up.
I understand. I can see how that would happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but all's well, you know. You don't have any dead fish or whatever, right? You guys are good?
I have dead fish, but they're just in the freezer.
Okay. Well, that's great. It is time for us to play
so
Babble Royale,
delicious.
everybody. Babble Royale. That's a game we play with Brian Dunaway, who comes on the show and helps you guys hopefully win some prizes. I mean, I don't know if he helps you win prizes. You may not win anything today. I don't know. But if you want to call us, you can. 801-471-0462. We have our first caller, I believe, coming. Although it is showing up weirdly blank. Oh, there we go. All right, let's give this a wing dinger here and see if
a wing dinger.
a good wing dinger. Whatever that doesn't even mean anything, and it sounds good, doesn't it? Something about a wing dinger.
It sounds like a
does not
restaurant
sound
where you
good.
get, of course, you get buffalo wings, but you might get a side of poppers,
Wing dingers.
potato poppers on the side.
Some wing dingers on the side.
Hey, come join us at Wing Dingers. We have random crap nailed to the wall. Hey.
All right, we have on the line with us who's this?
This is Jeremy from Kansas City.
Jeremy from Kansas City. Go Chiefs. Or Chefs.
Go Chiefs.
Yeah. Jeremy, it's nice to have you here. We'll play a little game with you. Brian will explain the rules, and we'll go from there. Brian, take it away.
That's right, Jeremy. I'm going to be asking Scott and Brian, or giving them a topic. They're going to go back and forth with answers for that topic. If one of them gives a wrong answer, a repeated answer, if they take too long to come up with an answer, the win is going to go to the other player. Your job is to predict who is going to come out on top based on today's topic. Today, you are playing for a massive prize package, which includes Wasteland 2 Director's Cut Classic Edition, Oxenfree, Team Fortress 2 badges, Andrew's munificent mug and is Raphael's Il Monseri expression, Gary's mod, War for the Overworld, Toy Odyssey, and we're adding today Guild Wars 2 Heroic Edition, Robocraft Jingle Jam Pack, and the Star Trek Online TOS Enterprise Bridge Officers Pack. Wow.
Woo! And
Wow.
a basket of wing dingers.
Yeah.
Just for
And a
you.
basket of wing dingers. This is there's so much stuff that I might actually have to pay postage on email to send it to you. That's how crazy it is.
Holy crap. All right. Well, this
now, before
hopefully
you
he
win
wins
all
all
this
this, so
stuff,
you don't have to say those terrible dumb names that are in the middle of that list anymore.
Especially that damn Team Fortress 2 badge.
Yeah, you don't want to say that anymore.
Ilimans Mercenary.
Yep.
I don't even know what the hell that is. Anyway,
Yeah.
the topic today is shows that were part of the must-see TV lineup. I won't say Thursday because who knows, it might not have always been Thursday. That ran with Seinfeld.
With Seinfeld. Oh.
Ran with Seinfeld.
So during the Seinfeld era, which would have been like
That's correct.
91 or
89
2. Oh, 89.
to 96.
Oh, my Lord. In 98, I thought they ended, didn't they?
89 to 96 is what you said?
I thought they
89 to 96.
I thought they ended in 98.
Shows that ran the same night as Seinfeld.
All right. Hold on.
Oh, so, but not just on NBC, on any
Hold
channel?
on a minute.
No,
I'm
no,
right.
just NBC.
Just
Just
Sein-
NBC.
Seinfeld
Just-
ended.
Okay, just the must-see TV. part.
And I'm not including, so it's only that 2-hour block that starts for us in Mountain Time at 7 o'clock, ends at 9. So don't say ER because ER is not part of this list. So we're talking about the comedies that run in
from
that.
8 to 10.
Yeah,
8 to
8 to
10
10
for
year
you,
time,
Brian.
7 to 9 for us. By the way, Seinfeld ended May 14th, 1998. So can we count that time?
Yeah, why does this say 96?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. It does say 98.
Oh, all right.
I
Your
just
8 looks like a
apparently,
6.
Need to improve my printer. Yes. 97 to 98.
All right, I feel good about this.
Yes. All right.
What do you think there, Jeremy? Who do you want to win?
I'm going to go with you, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, buddy. That's right. Sticking with it. Who would you like to go first?
Terrible choice.
I'll let Mr. Dunaway go
All
first.
right, I like this.
All right.
I like all this Mister. He's got such nice manners, calling us Mister and everything. That's great. Anyway,
Hey, mister. Hey, mister.
all right, Dunaway.
All right.
Okay, so we're going from 89. Could you repeat the question one more time?
Yes, absolutely. From 1989 to 1998, the shows that ran on NBC alongside Seinfeld in that 2-hour block of comedies that was called Must See TV.
And I can't say Seinfeld.
No.
You can, but you'll lose immediately.
Yeah, you'd lose right away. You'd lose. They should have let him.
And at no
This is
time
alongside.
did Seinfeld run alongside Seinfeld.
Right.
I'm sorry, and he's predicting. I forgot to write down in here. He's predicting Scott to win.
That I will win, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Usually I write that on the top here.
All right. Well, I had a must-see TV, friends.
Did you say Friends?
You're saying
Yeah.
Friends.
Okay.
Must-see TV Friends.
I had a
Yes.
must-see TV, friends.
Yes, absolutely. Friends ran from 1994 past Seinfeld. So
Right. But that was the big night. That was the big nights for me. The Friends, and then Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm. Don't say anymore.
I'm not.
You're about to give a list. Friends, Seinfeld,
Friends,
that other
Seinfeld.
one.
Then I'd watch a little ER. Scott,
Yeah.
say ER.
I'm gonna say that there was a crossover with Cheers. So Cheers.
there was
Okay.
for the first 3 years. Yeah, from
Oh.
89 to 93, Cheers and Seinfeld were all on the same Thursday night.
All
Part
right.
of Thursday night lineup.
All right.
So pretty good.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your
Yes.
turn.
Well, if that is true, then right on the heels of Cheers, they started right up with Frasier, so he had to be there, right?
He indeed was, yes. Frasier and Seinfeld ran together, and I'm looking for the years. Here we go. They were on the same night, 93 to 94, and then I think Frasier moved to a different night. I think Frasier moved to Tuesdays.
Yeah,
if I
it got to the
remember
point. It got to the point where Frasier could carry its own night. So they
Exactly.
Yeah, they
Yep.
moved it.
And fairly quickly, like one season, and Frasier was carrying its own night.
What? Well, dangerous.
Yeah.
I know that this is true for at least some of it. So I'm gonna say Mad About You.
Oh, yes.
Mad About You.
That was
Definitely.
mine.
From 93 to 95. Yes. Those shared Thursday nights.
Okay. Brian.
I really should have put this on the sheet a different way to make it a little bit easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing it the old-fashioned
I'm
way.
trying to say, well, if Cheers was on there, then you had to have the Cosby Show, right? That had to be during the same time frame. NBC.
His answer
Well,
is
Cosby
Cosby
Show.
Show. He's getting.
Cosby
Hey, that's a
Show.
great thing to bring up today because he's getting sentenced today for
He
his
is.
for his sexy stuff he did.
For his sexy stuff.
Sexy stuff. Boy, I don't think Cosby and sexy have been used in the same phrase.
Only when only
yes.
when the girl's drunk, then he'll say it. He says it all the time. It turns out.
Like to try some sexy time.
Check out this
Yes,
dress.
for the first 2 years, Cosby led the must-see TV night. So from 89 to 91, your must-see TV would start with Cosby.
Damn it! I'm running out here. This may not be right. Oh, I don't want to lose because I want this stuff to go. I want this huge list to go.
I keep wanting to say stuff from TGIF Friday. I keep wanting to accidentally pull those in. I'm like, no, Urkel.
Yeah, you can't do
Back
that.
down in the sub recesses of my brain.
You should totally do that so that Jeremy can win.
Yeah, you totally could do it. It's just me we don't want to do it. All right, I'm gonna say Will and Grace, maybe.
Will and Grace, sadly.
Oh,
come
Friday night.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. I think Will and Grace was purely on Tuesday nights.
Right.
Frasier.
So that was part of the Frasier lineup?
Never go against Brian when it comes to TV.
Oh no.
All right, well.
Here
who
are the other ones
yeah.
you could.
Wait, can I guess a few?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
fine.
sure.
Well, if Cosby was there, A Different World had to be there because they did.
A
they
Different
ran
World
back-to-back
was,
for a
yes.
while.
What? I could have
Right.
said A Different World. Damn it.
It's a
Right.
different world.
Okay.
Did you have another one?
So let me see. I think I remember there was a. Did Veronica's Closet? Did it stay on NBC on Thursday nights? Because
It
that was
sure
with
did.
Kirstie Alley.
Rebecca. Yeah, Kirstie Alley from Cheers. Was she in there?
Yeah, the last 2 years that Seinfeld was on, or the last year that Seinfeld was on, it shared the night with Veronica's Closet.
What
that
am
was
I
the
thinking
closer
of? What am I thinking of?
Right.
It's I'm thinking of Fat Actress. Remember that show she was on?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that was not NBC.
That was a reality show. I think that was.
Yeah, that was a reality show.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was something.
And then there's two more that are in my mind.
Yeah.
From that time.
All right.
That tried to make a run at it, and I loved the show, but it did not last long. If my memory serves correctly, it was Caroline in the City.
Caroline in the City for sure. Yeah, 3 seasons.
Marty McFly's mom.
2 seasons. 2 seasons.
Right.
She was basically didn't she play the lady who made Kathy or something? She was a cartoonist. Wasn't that the deal?
Right.
I think.
Yeah, she didn't make She didn't make Kathy, but she was a illustrator.
She was based on that though.
Right.
Like she was like the Kathy lady.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Kathy Guy's wife. Right.
Yeah.
Correct. And
oh my gosh, you know more.
There was one that I can't remember. It was about I can't remember the actor's name, but that's all. I think that's about all.
That's
really
impressive.
can
So
remember.
here's the whole list of what you could have said, and I'll say all the ones, even the ones you said. Cosby Show, Different World, Cheers, Unsolved Mysteries for a while was part of Must See TV.
Okay.
Night Court at the very end of its life was on Wednesday nights, and they were running Seinfeld on Wednesday nights for one season.
Okay.
Mad About You, Wings. Surprised nobody said
Oh,
Wings.
Wings! I used
That's
to love
right.
Wings. I liked Wings.
Frasier, Friends, and then here comes a nice little drought. Mad Men of the People.
What?
Hope and Gloria.
What?
Oh
the
yeah,
Single
Hope
Guy.
and Gloria.
The
Single Guy. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
The Single Guy. They had that. They kept struggling near the end.
They really
Must See
did.
TV.
Yeah.
They were.
We
can't lose this
second
block.
slot, the second slot and the fourth slot were always like
Yeah.
all right, let's bring in this one. Caroline in the City, Boston Common, Suddenly Susan, The Naked Truth.
Oh yes, Suddenly Susan.
Of course, Just Shoot Me, Union Square, Veronica's Closet, and Fired Up.
And near the end, CBS was kind of raking the coals. They had Everybody Loves Raymond and
Right.
King of Queens. They were kind of everybody
Yeah,
was
but
kind of moving
Seinfeld
that
was
way.
king, man. They just
It was.
nobody could compete
It
with
ruled. And
that.
it pretty much held that, the second hour capper. Now, I would have also accepted Third Rock from the Sun, Working in News Radio, because those aired with
Those are
Seinfeld
Monday.
reruns that they said, let's see if we can make Wednesday night a thing. We're going to put in Seinfeld reruns. And
Is it Third Rock used to come on Monday, right? And so did the other.
News Radio was one of my
Wednesdays.
favorite shows ever
Wednesdays.
made. If News Radio could come back, the fact that they tried to keep it going after Phil Hartman died was dumb.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
what
John Lovitz was a
great
good,
show.
it was about as good a replacement as you could probably come up with. But Stephen Root, so good.
Yeah,
and,
that was the first
what a
Stephen
great
Root thing
cast.
I'd ever seen. I didn't even know he existed till that. And then you had your
Joe Rogan before he got weird.
Yeah, normal Joe Rogan, and then you had what's his name from the Canadian Kids in the Hall thing?
Yeah, Kids in the Hall is the main guy.
Oh yeah,
I love
yeah,
that
forgot
guy
about
though.
that.
He's the main dude in the show.
You know
That-
what kind of felt like the spiritual successor of that, and that was Spin City with Michael J. Fox. That felt like that was
Oh, I like Spin
had that
City. Spin
similar-
City, that was a good show.
kind of humor.
That's before we knew about his that he had the Parkinson's there.
Yeah,
Right.
Dave Foley. That's right.
Dave Foley, that's it. Well, congratulations to nobody because we made so Jeremy lost. Jeremy, play again. Call us back. We'll play you some other time there, buddy. All right. Well, the biggest gift list in the world carries forward, and
Yes,
is not.
and I think we're capping it at 9. I don't think I'm adding anything to this. So
And it's really hard to come up with any strategy because it's been a mix of me and Scott kind of bouncing back and forth a little
yeah,
bit.
there's no exactly. There's been no like, oh well, it's always gonna. If it's TV, it's always gonna be so and so. No, it's like you guys are both on top of it. So
Yeah.
well done.
All right. Well done there, Dunaway. You've done it again. Now, as far as I know, we're doing Boop today, right? You and I?
Oh, we're gonna do the boop.
All right, because I got stuff to say. That's happening
We've
today.
been gaming constipated. It's time to let it out.
Yeah, we got to let it out. Last week you couldn't do it because of all the business with Florence and the aftermath for your job. So this week we're catching up. We're letting you know what's up. And be here 3:30 Mountain Time for the Boop Show right here at frogpants.tv. Brian Dunaway, kiss our butts, and we'll talk to you later.
A couple people in the chat room want to know why Joe Rogan is weird. Okay, maybe it's not that he's weird, but all of a sudden for a while it was making people eat weird food and then MMA announcing.
Yeah.
And it was just
And
such
he's
a
got a
departure from sitcoms.
He has a podcast now that's popular. People really like Rogan's podcast. He's just not my flavor of comedian. Just not my thing. It's not that. I mean, he's great. Whatever, he can do whatever.
He's not weird.
No, he's fine. He's fine. He's been in the news lately because it was his show that Elon Musk was smoking pot on and got in trouble.
That was the one. Okay, I saw that the photo of Elon Musk with cheese. Smoking.
There you go.
All right.
Joe Rogan, and I actually think he looks kind of cool, all bald and squatty. I think he looks cool.
We're also saying that he's not weird so that he doesn't beat us up because it looks like he could.
Oh,
and
he
then
totally
make
could.
us eat goat testicles.
He's a flat earther? Shut up. What?
Oh, well, okay. Then I retract my Joe Rogan's not weird statement.
If that's true, TPN Drew, then forget it. Not into it then. Flat earthers can bite me, dude. Oh, geez. What? Sorry. I don't know why that happened.
I don't know.
I don't know what that was about. All right, let's get into this.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive sensational summary of world and local events.
Oh, look, I see the news, and it's brought to us by...
Brought to you by King of the Hill reruns. They make you happy, Bobby.
Bobby, damn it. Luann. You know, I'll tell you what. There's something comforty food about that show, and I've been watching it 100% legally through a friend's Plex server. Because no one else is streaming it.
No, there's no doth protest too much with the fact that you have to say legally every time you bring it up.
It's like one of my great pleasures, this show. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it that just is like my mom's home cooking. I just want to sit and listen to it, watch it, have it on in the background. And it's genuinely funny. And I recommend it if you can find it. So there you go.
My thing like that was Cheers, and watched the whole first 10 seasons, and then got to that season 10 ending with Woody and Kelly's marriage.
Oh, right.
Where it's like, oh, the minister died. We got to hide him in the closet, find somebody else, and we got to get him drunk, and somebody fell on the cake. And that really was... It was a shark jumping beginning of the end moment. Like the whole last season.
I agree.
I basically got 2-3 episodes into the 11th season of Cheers and said, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to get my closure and I'm going to watch the 3-part finale. Mm-hmm. But that's it.
Yeah. There almost every series that is highly regarded has something like that toward the end. They all do.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you what, if you go watch the entirety of Seinfeld, one of the greatest shows ever made ever, perhaps the greatest comedy ever made, sitcom anyway, they have some episodes in that final season, and I don't even mean the finale. I actually like the finale. I
like the finale.
People just didn't want it to end. Go watch it again, and you'll be fine with it. But there are moments in some of that last season, a couple episodes. There's one where Elaine somehow ends up underneath a bunch of bleachers, trying to get out of a traffic jam, and she's under a bleachers at a game or something.
Oh, really?
It is really dumb. Like, it's not funny. It's bad. It's super natural in some ways. It's like, guys, bring it back.
I mean, there is like a thing where it's like, all right, well, what are we gonna do? And in that last season, they try and make, or Woody becomes a city councilman. Mm-hmm. Sam decides to go to sexual therapy, go in for sexual therapy.
What was his deal? Sexual addiction thing or something.
Sexual addiction, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It just is like, okay, this is a little bit too far.
Yeah, I don't know why all these shows do that. It's weird, but they do, and bums me out. You could argue BSG did this. It's not even just comedies. Some shows just, in their final throes, they get weird. Breaking Bad didn't screw up. Somehow that's the one you want to look at and go, oh, way to go, guys. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of examples.
4 or 5 years is pretty much what you can say. All right, the writers still are on their game, and they're not struggling to come up with new things.
Sure, and if somebody can make it to 6, 7, 8 and still pull it off, hats off to them, because it must be hard. The Walking Dead is totally lame right now. I can't watch the show. I try. I think Fear the Walking Dead's a better show. It's more interesting to me.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's more interesting to me. The other one's gotten cool and blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing every week.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Used to be, you know what I'm saying. First story here. I pulled this for you, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, because
I'm a word nerd.
You're a word nerd, and you like the Scrabble. You'll play Scrabble now and again.
Scrabble.
Yep. Yeah. When's the last time you played a real game of like board game Scrabble on a table?
Actual on a board, not Words with Friends on the app or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since I've played Scrabble on a board with a little wooden tile, like little wooden tile holder, and
wow.
Yeah,
that surprises
it's been a long time.
Well, I played it I don't know, probably 6 months ago or something.
No, cool.
But I'm not good at it. I've never been good at Scrabble. I'm okay at it,
Yeah.
but I'm not great.
The key to people think the key to Scrabble is making long words. The key to Scrabble is looking at those like the places where you've already got words connecting and building in the little armpits and knees of those, because if you can add a couple tiles and make a new word, then you get points for all the new words that are made by that, like in all the different directions.
Absolutely. And I forget to think that way while I'm in the thick of it. Or else someone else is thinking of it quicker than I am, is what's happening.
Right.
I'm not great at it. But here's the great thing if you're into that sort of stuff. By the way, chat room, somebody in the chat says, I quit Fear the Walking Dead after the first season. I understand that.
It was a rough first season.
Yeah, they had to establish stuff. It was a little bit weird. It got really good after that.
It's good right now. I mean, the whole thing. Morgan is over there from Walking Dead original flavor, and Maggie Grace from Lost is on there now, and Jenna Elfman.
Yeah, everyone likes Jenna.
Dillahunt, Garrett Dillahunt.
Everyone loves Beanfork. Beanfork. Yeah, or no, that's not Beanfork.
That's not Beanfork. No, Garrett Dillahunt is from Raising Hope.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? It's because in The Road, the movie The Road, he's a bad guy on the road that wants to kidnap the kid and eat him, and he reminds me of Beanfork for some reason in that movie. So I always mix him up. Anyway, he was also a Terminator for a while in the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh, was he really? Wow, that's a weird. I can't picture him doing that.
Total Terminator in that thing. It was weird. It was right before.
His run in Justified was so good too.
Oh, right. It was right. Oh yeah, he's so good in that.
Yeah.
Garrett Dillahunt is great. Anyway, here's the deal. Scrabble has added some stuff to the dictionary. These are the following new, or a couple of them. I'll give you an example. I'll give you some more. Okay, that's the letter O and K is now a acceptable word in the rules of Scrabble. How do you feel about that? I need to have
I'm not sure I like that, because OK is it's not an anagram, it's an acronym. It's an initialism. It stands for Old Kinderhook, and we've turned it into something that means all right, that's okay.
Well, what do you think about the language? But people always say English is a fluid language. You can tweak it and change it and whatever. Right? No. All right. Brian the Purist says no.
I mean, you can, but you shouldn't do it because people can't do things the right way, right? Like the word supposedly getting added to the dictionary, it's basically them saying, well, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
We can't choose,
That's like
we
putting
can't
nuclear.
correct people on supposedly, so we're just going to have to kowtow and create that as a word.
Do you think they ever add nuclear? Wait, that's right. Nuclear.
Nuclear is the correct.
Do you think they ever add nuclear to the thing?
Well, it depends. I mean, how would they spell it? Nuclear.
Maybe. Sorry, quick correction. Bing, bing, bing. Joe Rogan isn't a flat earther. He just interviews people who are. Oh, all right. No, that's fine. I mean, we've interviewed Tom, and he thinks a Loch Ness Monster lives in his toilet, so we still let him on here.
No, I mean, Bagheera says all languages are made up. Well, sure. I mean, people create words to help communicate their ideas and their thoughts and things like that. But you don't take words that people are mispronouncing or using incorrectly and say, well, we'll just make that correct. We'll just, all of a sudden we'll make that okay. Okay.
It does seem weird if we agree as a society to say, here are the currently acceptable proper words, and then someone goes with an offshoot and you're like, well, okay, we'll let that one in. It's just a little loosey-goosey. It's weird.
Adding the word selfie to the dictionary. It's a dumb word, but it's a word that is used to describe something very specific. Supposedly is a word that supposedly already meant something, and people were just using it wrong. Yeah. It's like all of a sudden adding a new definition for literally because people can't use it right. So saying literally also means excessively or I can't even.
I don't know. I'm torn on this. I get what Brian says rings true to me. What some of you are saying about that's what language is, it always changes. I get that too. But if someone's screwing up, it does feel like we're just giving up to say, fine, nuclear. we'll put that in there. Oh no, wait, nuclear is the right one. Nuclear is the wrong one.
Nuclear.
So
Yes.
I don't hold with that, bub. But I
Right. Theron brings up. Well, so when is library going to be a word? Because
Right.
people can't pronounce library.
Yeah, see, I don't think. See, what's the point of anything then? If you're not gonna have a standard, then what are we even doing? You gotta have some standard, right?
Can't wait for the Webster's Dictionary Vocal Fry edition, where every word is just written like this.
Oh my gosh, no, please, no.
With lots of vowels at the end.
Well, they've added ew as well, like ew, that's gross.
Ew.
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 Yeah.
All right.
That's in there.
I'm all
okay?
right with that because ew. Yeah, that's
Okay, that's all right.
that's a word that we started using to it's a, what is that called? It's an onomatopoeia where it's, well, I guess it's not, it's like that would be the noise someone made if they threw up would be an
Right.
onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
Blork is
Blork.
an onomatopoeia.
Yeah. I don't see Blork getting added too soon. How about this one? They've added bizjet. BIZJET, one word. A small plane used for business. That's literally what it is.
Sure.
That is worth 120 points on an opening play. So if you had those letters on an opening play, 120 point Scrabble play with that word is now in the thing. So enjoy that. Let's see. There's a couple others in here. And they don't list the rest of them. Why don't they? Come on, AP. What kind of news organization are you? They don't have them all. Well, anyway. So there you have it. New words being added all the time. Okay and ooh. Next time somebody plays Scrabble, let us know when you've tried those. And also, if you got any heat from the people you were playing with, if they were like, no way, that's a word, they can't count that, and then you had to prove it. I want to know how that went. Because how is that even managed? The instructions you get with your Target copy of Scrabble doesn't have ooh in it.
No, you have to buy. You actually either have to buy the separate dictionary, or you have to get on the Scrabble website, the Scrabble dictionary website, and look it up there. But you have to challenge, and it costs you points.
Yeah. Are these knots? Are these real? BizSite, BizMail, and BizSuit?
What about Bizkit?
How about
Are we going to add Bizkit the way Limp Bizkit spells it?
It should be Bizkit and then Bizmall, like for Pepto-Bismol, but it's also a business mall. You can do that. Yeah, I don't know. The OK one seems fine to me. I don't actually care about that one either.
But the thing is, so Ninja Steve says OK is the original spelling. We changed it to the phonetic OK over time. Correct, but OK was initialism. It stood for Old Kinderhook. It wasn't oak, awk. It was two letters. It was initialism. It's like saying, what's another example?
FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, right, exactly. FBI is not a word.
Right.
But it's an initialism.
Right, that's a good point. Wait,
Scuba is an acronym because you say it as scuba. It's an initialism that also works. Laser is another initialism that's an acronym because you say the word laser.
So hold on. Back in the day, if somebody said to me, John, would you like to come in for some lamb? And I would say, Old Kinderhook.
Right, I guess.
I don't get it. That's weird.
It was a presidential slogan. I wish I could remember who it was for, but it was.
Oh, and the F word. Yeah, that's an initialism, or initially. But now it's used
What?
as. Oh yeah.
For unlawful carnal knowledge.
Yeah, that's the initialism. And so
I think that's one they came up with afterwards. Like,
is it? I thought it was. I thought
golf,
that was for
like saying golf. Golf originally came about because it stood for gentlemen only, ladies forbidden.
Let's see.
I don't think.
Don't look up the F word and origin, because it's just a bunch of people who don't like EA's online game service. All right, hold on. Let's see. On the origin. Okay. The origin story of the F word is it comes from when sex was outlawed unless it was permitted explicitly by the king. So people were legally doing it, had fornication under consent of the king. Oh, that's the original one. Fornication under consent of the king, Brian. That's your initialism.
Really?
Yeah, fornication under consent of the king.
Huh.
Let's see.
That's interesting.
And he says anything that ends in carnal knowledge. Right now, the passenger. 15th century is what standard of the thing. All right, I can't find anything. We're super definitive here, but oh wow, they found some old.
And
scrolls.
you're right. You know what it is? It's all correct. It came about before Old Kinderhook when it became Martin Van Buren's campaign slogan. So before that, it was all correct, and it was shortened to initialism, not an acronym, because.
Bill, do you want seconds? All correct.
Exactly.
Are you feeling all correct? Yes.
Oh, good. Alex found a set of words for mental floss. I love mental floss. Basically, a bunch of words that started out as spelling mistakes, kind of like supposedly.
Oh, culprit, expedite.
Like nickname. Interesting. Nickname was started out as eekname.
Yeah.
Somebody mistakenly interpreted it as neek name, N-E-K-E name, and then it became a nickname.
That's fantastic. Dispatch.
Ammunition, sneeze.
Yeah.
Very cool. This is a great.
Yeah, this is good.
I love this. Thank you, it's Alex. This
Ammunition,
is awesome. Love seeing
syllabus,
stuff like this.
sneeze, sherry, syllabus. You mentioned. That's amazing.
Yes.
Culprit's
That is really
pretty
cool. Good. This is gonna be a fun read over lunch today.
There you go. A good read over lunch is what we like.
A good read. I'm gonna have myself a good read while I take a poop.
Here's the thing I'm going to read to you, and then we're going to take a break. Indiana bus driver arrested on suspicion of letting students drive the vehicle. Now, I would like to just put it out there.
Bus driver, Indiana.
I want to put this out there. When I was in junior high, our bus driver let me drive the bus once. 3 blocks.
Seriously?
3 blocks, yep.
Oh, man.
I sat in his chair.
With all the kids in there, too?
Oh,
or
yeah.
had all the kids?
No, we were on our way to school, full of kids. I asked him, I don't remember what the deal was, but he stood up and just held onto the bar next to me, and he told me what to do and how to do it, and I was driving this big old, wheel, and I drove us like 3 blocks the rest of the way to school. So I guess he should have been fired or something for that, but I didn't know at the time. I thought that was cool of him to let me do that. And nobody else complained, so I think he got away with something.
That's a felony.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But this guy got arrested. An Indiana bus driver was arrested Friday, accused of allowing 3 teenagers to drive her bus. The Chicago Tribune reported Johanna McAtee, age 27, is arrested by the Porter County Sheriff's Office, charged with a felony of neglect of a dependent after she allegedly let 3 students ages 11, 13, and 17 drive her vehicle. I would have been like 12 when I did it.
Wow.
Videos posted on Twitter allegedly show the incident having
That's
gone viral.
so illegal.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to create kind of a Kavanaugh deal here where everyone goes and finds this bus driver and gives him crap. Okay, everybody? That was a long time ago. It wasn't even high school. It was junior high.
And that bus driver's name was Jeff Sessions.
Oh, I love that idea that it would be somebody famous now. Dang it.
Right, exactly. Well, that's how this would come out.
Yeah. No, chat room, that's 12, not 5. That's weird. But no one's letting a 5-year-old do anything. But 12, it's not that bad. Anyway, in one video, so a bunch of videos came out. And this is the other thing, is how dumb are you to not know that all the other kids are going to film this with their phones? Of course they are.
Yeah, but that wasn't
everywhere.
a problem when you did this.
No, that's my point.
Basically, with you doing it, it was your word against hers if any trouble came about. No, I didn't let him drive the bus. He just decided he was going to make up some story and brag to his friends.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But in 2018, if you do this, all those kids have phones. And that's what happened. Every kid that drove, they have a separate video showing it happening. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what happens to you for this. I don't know what how much jail time or whatever, fines or whatever you pay. But
and if this 11-year-old would have veered it into a parked car on the side that had somebody sitting in it, or somebody crossing the road, jaywalking, but they hit him. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, this could have gone so.
It could have gone real south.
So bad, yeah.
I could have killed a whole busload of kids when I was 12. I didn't know any better. I really didn't know. That's why the adult's supposed to not let you do this, because the kids don't know. They're like, yeah, man, my uncle let me drive his tractor once. Let's go. I held, I don't know, probably 80 kids in the palm of my hand.
The life of 80 kids.
Yeah, think of that.
And one of those kids was Jared Kushner.
I think you say Subway Jared. Maybe should.
And him too in the back.
Him as
very
well.
back.
All of them.
Lots of Jareds. It was a bus full of Jareds.
Sounds like Seinfeld having a bad dream. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the Trek Nerd will be here. We're going to talk about a couple things Trek-related and have a fun... Oh, don't click that link I have in there, that Science Mag link. You're not allowed to click it, Brian.
I won't click it.
Because it's kind of a test.
It's going to be a quiz.
Yeah, a little bit of a test. It's not a hard quiz, but it's one that you don't want to see the answer to until you do it. So we'll get to that in a minute, as well as we got a mashup later. We got some good emails, some other cool stuff. So come on back. Before all that, though, a break with a song.
We are